Ever wondered how fasting could be the secret to not just losing weight, but also boosting your health at the cellular level? Imagine your body doing its own cleaning and resetting, all while you're simply skipping a few meals. Stay tuned to discover the powerful science behind intermittent fasting and autophagy. Due to the influx of various pieces of information, many of which are inaccurate, we need to distinguish between two concepts: intermittent fasting and autophagy. Intermittent fasting is a practice we undertake by voluntarily abstaining from food for a certain period of time. Autophagy is an intracellular process that represents the self-cleaning of cells. In this process, the cell breaks down its worn-out parts and reuses them, much like an intracellular recycling system. Thus, intermittent fasting is a practice that offers many health benefits and, in some cases, leads to autophagy, but not always. Unfortunately, we can't always know if the process of autophagy is happening, but we can indirectly deduce it from how a person feels or looks. There are different types of intermittent fasting. It is divided into something called time-restricted eating, which includes the shortest types of fasts, those lasting less than 24 hours. The most popular among them is the 16-8 fast, where no food is consumed for 16 hours, and then eating takes place in an 8-hour window. This is easiest to implement by having dinner in the evening and skipping breakfast. One of the most common misconceptions is that breakfast should never be skipped. The English word for breakfast, actually means break the fast. Nowhere does it say that this breaking of the fast must happen at a certain hour, be it 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 a.m. It's simply the first meal that breaks the fast. In fact, we all fast from the last meal in the evening until the first meal the next day, and this typically lasts for about 12 hours. The longer the fast, the greater the likelihood that autophagy will occur. For starters, the safest fasts are shorter, and depending on the person's medical condition, they can be extended. As mentioned, shorter fasts are within 24 hours, longer fasts can last up to 36 hours, and extended fasts, which last more than 36 hours, are usually therapeutic and should be monitored depending on the person's health. Fasting or fasting primarily affects insulin hormone levels. Fasting gives our body the opportunity to regulate its hormones. Fasting mainly influences insulin, which is a very important hormone that regulates blood sugar levels. It determines whether we burn fat or store it as fat deposits. When insulin levels are elevated, weight loss is hindered because insulin literally locks fat cells. Only when insulin drops to lower levels can fat cells open up. Fasting actually leads to a drop in insulin levels and allows the body to trigger fat metabolism. You should always listen to your body, but also provide it with the conditions in which it can speak meaningfully. Choose food that truly nourishes you, because, unfortunately, we are surrounded by food that does not. Bad food confuses our bodies, which is why we are often hungrier after eating industrially processed food, even when our bodies are not truly hungry. This is why fasting is excellent. It helps our body reset and return to its factory settings, enabling us to properly interpret the signals it sends. The basic level of autophagy. Every cell has something called a basic level of autophagy, its daily maintenance. When an organelle completes its function, ages, is no longer functional. Lysosomes are responsible for breaking it down. Think of them as mini recycling plants. This waste material is sent there, broken down, and usually consists of proteins, which can then be reused or used as an energy source. This process happens daily in a smaller amount. However, it is also a process we can consciously influence and enhance. All we need to do is provide time during which we will not eat. In the process of autophagy, both breakdown processes of old, damaged and degenerated cells, viruses, bacteria, fungi, and building processes of new cells occur in perfect balance. In principle, intermittent fasting is safe, except in cases of severe metabolic disorders or pregnancy. On the other hand, individuals with a metabolic issue under therapy, such as type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, can fast to regulate their medical problems naturally, but should do so under medical supervision. Over time, the need for medication decreases, and in many cases, the issue is permanently resolved. According to a report published on October 9, 2018, 3 men with type 2 diabetes used intermittent fasting to reverse their dependence on insulin, but experts caution not to attempt this without medical supervision. A new case report states that the 3 patients also lost weight, and their HbA1c, a measure of blood sugar levels, improved. People are focused on giving drugs for type 2 diabetes, but it's a disease of nutrition, said Dr. Jason Fung, the study's author and medical director of the Intensive Dietary Management Program in Toronto. Many doctors support the therapeutic effects of autophagy. Many doctors who advocate for treating with autophagy say that the idea of multiple meals a day is wrong because insulin, just as it drops, rises again with the next meal, especially if 5 meals a day are consumed. Practically, frequent eating keeps insulin levels elevated continuously, preventing weight loss. On the other hand, if you have breakfast and don't eat again until dinner, there is enough time between the 2 meals for your body to lower insulin levels and trigger the weight loss process. During the fasting and autophagy process, it is very important to stay hydrated. Water, unsweetened teas, coffee. Fasting is a wonderful way to get to know yourself, and you shouldn't fear this process. When toxins and cellular waste are expelled from the body, health knocks at the door. Besides rejuvenating and regenerating cells, it strengthens the immune system, slows down the aging process, and diseases disappear. Remember in the end that our ancestors lived this way, and these modern diseases were not present in this format and in such expansion. Be mindful of what you consume. Not all food is for us, even if it's on the shelves of stores. As I've noticed, official medicine remains silent on this matter, but we are mature enough to understand the reason for that. Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe and ring the bell for more health tips to unlock your body's full potential.